Hi Salesforce learners! So in this video now we will start with the SFDX comments, actually what exactly you will need for your work, and I've split all the comments that I know and want to share with you into two videos. So in the current one we will try with you to authorize to the work via SFDX comment, then create a scratch work, install package, and do retrieve the changes from the scratch work. And we'll see if we commit them to the repository or not. And in the next one, we will take the rest of the comments, which are not that important, essential, but are just nice and simple. So, okay, let's start. Here I have the work opened, so as usual, and also Git Bash opened. Okay, I need to clean up this. If you don't have something from this, please watch the previous video about the installation. I'm not giving much instructions, just follow the links and install all the tools. So I will show everything with the Git Bash. And okay, here is my work, which is of Enterprise Edition. So I created this one for this YouTube channel and have created it directly from the Trailhead. So it's kind of free org. And here, let's first authorize it through our SFDX comments. So why do you need it? Because you need the orgs to be connected to work with them. So if I now run, there is one command, SFDX force org list, I can see that there are no active scratch orgs, no orgs connected, nothing. So, because I've cleaned up everything before that. And now I will run this command. So as you can see, I have here a big file with all the commands listed. I'm not remembering them by heart. This would be just, not my strongest part, but instead I'm constantly copying, pasting, and you can totally do the same just with changing of the parameters and so on. So I want to authorize my org, this one, with the name, like alias name for my local command line to be Salesforce with Pauline, just like the main org. And I'm using this command, SFDX force auth web plugin -a is like alias, and Salesforce with Pauline is my name. It opens me a login to salesforce.com link where I should enter now my username and my password. So here the username can be taken from, did you see where I go? I open the settings and the personal information. So it would be either here or in advanced user details in here. So let me copy this. And now where do you take the password if you don't have one? The password from your org created by Trailhead. Trailhead have these playground starter installed and get your login credentials. And here you go, and you can just reset your password. And it will send you an email, and I will get it too. Let me open this one, and I'm clicking the link. Don't pay attention to my Russian email providers. So and here I have this new password to be entered. I have something prepared, so let me just copy this. And just some temporary password for the video. And here now I have the password, and I can enter it in here as well. And it gets authorized. It might probably ask you to confirm that you confirm usage of Salesforce CLI, so SFDX CLI, so just accept. And what we see, what has changed in the command line is that line, so successfully authorized. If there would be something that you cannot successfully authorize, like, okay, for example, I will imitate this, like, I don't know, I'm trying to enter whatever, but it doesn't work, and I'm closing the tab, here, nothing. So the command will be still running because the command line is waiting for this successful authorization, and you can stop it. All the commands in command line, you can stop with Control C in Windows. I don't know the one with the Mac. So I pressed Control C, and now, do you want to terminate the batch job? Yes, I want, and just terminate it. Normally without the question, but just terminate it, So you see here is this Control C kind of entered. So, and okay, but anyway, now we have one org, and if we run again the first comment, and I will not copy paste right now, I just will use this nice hack of command line is just up, 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 up. So 3 times up, and I'm getting through the comments that that were in my history, and that's how I can quick rerun the same one. And now I see that the org is connected. Oh, and by the way, they were connected to Scratch orgs that I created before, but okay, we will create with you the new one. But anyway, normally you would see that one org is connected. It has your username and it has your alias. And this is normally will be empty, so no Scratch orgs. Now, all right, this is something I can close. Now to the Scratch orgs, what it is, and what it is. So trying to explain everything all together and don't know where to jump. So SFDX in general is a new Salesforce tool for working on the orgs. It's a new concept, let's say. So in the past, the orgs were only static, and your organization were creating like the static orgs. So there were the production, the highest, and live environment. Then normally were full org or UAT org, like with some sample of data for bulk testing and so on. So one of these orgs. Then go the dev org, and for example, several even lower orgs for each developer or for each feature that developers do develop. So this was the static org model, and the deployment was possible only with change sets. And it was not much flexibility was in there, because the orgs were becoming older, and to refresh it you need to run plenty of stuff, so it's not that quick, and the orgs were becoming outdated, and this was you had to live with this. But anyway, right now, since I don't know, probably 5 years or so, Salesforce has introduced this tool SFDX, and this is some new organization, new concept of this also. Still you have the main orgs, the static ones, so like production, UAT or full, and dev org, but the lowest the lowest orgs are not anymore static, so the orgs with which the developers actually, where they develop the stuff, they're not static anymore. This got replaced with the thing like Scratch orgs. And now what basically developers and admins do, for each new ticket, you're creating a Scratch org. It's like a totally new org, which has its lifetime like up to 30 days. So really like, not endless. And at the end, it kind of dies, expires, is deleted, so you cannot restore it anyhow. And the point is that you're constantly creating a new Scratch org, and you're using it only for your feature implementation, and then it's removed, and then you create a new one. And this process is very quick, and you have constantly relevant org with relevant metadata. So that's how the concept looks like. So let us go ahead with the Scratch org creation. First of all, on your highest org, which means production, or here this live environment, Kanin Koala, we need to enable this org as dev hub. It's just something essential, like to enable this org, to create Scratch orgs out of it. So nothing critical in here, you just enable it once and that's it. So here we go to setup, to dev hub, and click in here the enabled. I have it done already because I was preparing the video, but for you it will be just clicking this and it will be updated. You can disable this setting, and that's how it's automated. You don't need the other stuff normally. So just this one. And then this is how we enable this to be working with SFDX as Dev Hub. And okay, now let's say we want to create a Scratch org. I have here some comment also prepared. Let me also copy, paste, and first tell about it. So it's called SFDX Force or Create. Now, -f parameter is the file where the configuration is stored, because within this concept you cannot create really the copy of your high org of production, for example. It's not working in the copying concept anymore. Instead, you're providing here, you have some, so on the project you are working with the repository and you have the repository relevant, and here you will have the configuration file. It looks like this. It might look like this, so I have a pretty big one. This is something also what I will describe in another video, how to define this file, but also, okay, right now I probably should show you what you can take just for trying it out. So if you write SFDX Scratch org file, okay, and open this link. I just today took it from here, so and then enhanced a little bit. And where is that? Create Scratch orgs. Files. Okay, this one. Build your own Scratch org definition file. So there are a lot of instructions, but you can just take, for example, this sample. It would be a small one. So what it contains your org name. For example, for me, it's just Salesforce with Polina. For you, it will be your company name or your client's company name. Then edition, just put enterprise, because most of the clients have enterprise one. Then, okay, release, it's just something extra. Don't pay attention to that. Then we have some features enabled, like Service Cloud, like communities. I have normally also added multi-currency and state and country pick lists, and also some settings. So some settings to be enabled, just some stuff. But you can not really dive into it right now. This is work and the role of technical lead to define this, to define and support the Scratch definition file for your project. So it's really seniority level, and I will later also describe it in fully separate video how to support it. But right now, you can either take my example, which will be on this repository. I will leave a link in the description of the video, or you can just take that one from the documentation, and that's what will be there. So here would be the path to your file, Then again, we are providing the alias. I will name it, okay, no, not Salesforce 2. I can see that I already have Salesforce 2, so Salesforce 3. They should be kind of unique, otherwise you'll have some mess. So Salesforce 3. Then -s is a parameter to set as it as default Scratch org for this folder. So for example, right now from my org list, you could see that, so with this one, I don't know why it's like probably like default username, but anyway, so this is the default one, and with this -s on this comment, we'll make the new Scratch org a default one. And -d is number of days, which how many days your org will live. I'm totally always put in 30, like the maximum number of days. By default it would be 7, but you might not notice when 7 days are gone and your implementations are lost. So don't allow to trick yourself and just put here extra parameter 30. Unfortunately, after creation of the Scratch org, you cannot change it, so it must be in the comment. And okay, let's run this. Okay, now we also faced one error, which I didn't do after connecting a new org. So you should have a Dev Hub org username set with the flag. And this would be another comment. So this one. Okay, let me copy this and set. So SFDX force config set default dev hub username equals Salesforce with Polina. Yeah, so I've set this org as my default one, and if I now rerun the org list command, then you will see that now this has the D letter like default, and this one has the U letter like username. But anyway, so let's try again the creation of the scratch org. One sip of coffee, and yeah, we can move further, but the comment is still haven't completed. It takes for small number for small file, it would take like a few moments to complete this comment. For some big ones, it might be like a minute. So don't stop this comment. It's always fine. It will run something at the end. If it will fail, it will also run it. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Bum, bum, bum. Still nothing. Okay, then let me so far just show you probably where can you learn these comments and these parameters, just in case. I will also present it in the next video, but till we are waiting. Yeah, still waiting. Okay, let's open like some concrete one, and here would be a nice documentation from Salesforce describing each comment. And if we search, okay, if we search Scratch, create this one, so that's the one that we're using. And okay, here we got the results. So there was some deprecation warning. Okay, because of my Node.js version, but it's really doesn't matter much. So each computer will have different warnings or will have none, which is really big luck. But yeah, anyway, at the end we can see the line that successfully created Scratch org and username this one. Now, if we get back to, okay, let me close this stuff. If we get back to this org, Kanin Koala, the main one, we can actually have a look which Scratch orgs we have. So this would be an extra tab, active Scratch orgs, all active Scratch orgs. Yeah, and it will be here. You can also from here delete something if you need, but I will also show later how to delete it from command line. But anyway, yeah, so this would be the Scratch orgs, and if we open this detail, then we will see which features were enabled, how many days were given, and expiration date. Yeah, and okay, that's very nice. Now we have this. Okay, let us rerun again the force org list, and we have our Salesforce 3 currently as the default one, thanks to this -s parameter, and I have copied this name to reuse it in different place. So let us open this. Yeah, so for opening an org that you are authorized to, you will use this command SFDX. Okay, it was super quick. SFDX force org open -u like user SF3. So in general, throughout all SFDX commands, you can use either these aliases or the usernames. Doesn't matter, work equally. It works equally. And okay, I see. Okay, I have probably somewhere German. And now if I try again, need to refresh, and yeah, now we have it in English. That's nice. So yeah, you can see the org URL is different, and when you will be working with the project dev hub, so production usually called like mycompany.lightning.force.com, yeah. But the script and the static works, they will have like my company minus def or minus UAT or whatever, lightningforce.com. But here the scratch works, they are totally not, they're kind of not connected to your production, to your dev hub. They are created in different space, and as well as they have a different URL. And okay, now our next thing would be to install the package. So this is also quite a common situation when you need to install a package. So let's imagine that for installing the package, we need to know which package to install. Before this video, I have installed one good package that I like, sortable data grid, to my Salesforce with Palina. And here is the comment that you can use to display the list of the packages. So like here, and from this table, you need the fifth column. So the package version ID, the one that starts with 04T. This is the ID that we need. And let me copy it. And later we're using this in the command force package install. And let's also do the installation. So this is common to SFDX force package install, minus package and this ID of the package version. Minus W is the wait time, so number of minutes which it should run. It should be provided because otherwise it will just drop immediately and you won't have anything catched by Salesforce. So you can put just 10 here, or for super big packages like CPQ, you will put here like 25 minutes because it's a big package, but here it's 10 is enough. And minus users, so some username, or it will be default one, the one with U. So, but I'm always providing it just to be sure. Then the package will be installed like that, successfully installed package. And now if we go to our Scratch work back, I can show you that it was installed. So from here, why I'm showing this package thing? So here it is. Why I'm showing this? Because it's also essential for the Scratch work creation, because you never have a live project without any package. This is just nonsense. You always have either, I don't know, CPQ or Marketing Cloud package, or like some free packages, unknown ones, but useful ones. So you will use this comment a lot, but normally, again, this is also should be something provided by technical lead into your project to support the initial installation of the initial creation of the Scratch work. And then, all right, now we're getting to the next part, which is like situation when you have some ticket and you should implement something and you should later deliver it further. So the changes will be fetched by the comment, where is that? By this one, pull. So if we run right now SFDX force source pull, minus U to be sure, then, okay, normally we should not have anything in here because I haven't done anything right now to this org, but it has retrieved some field restriction rules. Okay, that's some new metadata, but just ignore it. So normally there should be nothing. Now, if you are implementing your changes, so if you are adding any configurations like validation rules or new objects or flows or Epic's code, really whatever, we will create a field. And then, test field, we will name it, and just don't pay much attention to what I'm doing. Just really put in here some test field, and to have some changes, right? And okay, save. Just created some dummy field, and now I will run the pull again. And let me also open the source tree. So that's another tool which I recommended in the previous video about like what you need to install. But yeah, here we've run again the SFDX force source pool comment, and you can see now we've added one field. On this next clicking, I have agreed to give access to all profiles and to add it to the layout. So, and that's basically what it was, what was done. So, okay, this is some version of my config that I should commit also. Or should I? Probably not. Okay, we'll check this later. So field restriction rules, I'm just not caring about them. And yeah, why now this tool is useful, because you can really read your difference, and for example these files I will just remove, and now this word was relevant, so it fetched me the changes of the layout, which was actually layout customization, and I don't have it in my repository. So here is this repository. It's so far empty, that's why all the files are like new, because I didn't have anything. And then there would be this new field, and then there would be this admin profile as well. Probably I will not commit it to the repository, but later within all the videos that I will show some concrete topics with more relevant changes, I will commit everything to the repository, so you will be able to see this, how each metadata looks like. But right now I will not do that. Getting back to SFDX, the most important thing is that you can retrieve the stuff in here. Yeah, if I write it again, there would be nothing, because it's like fetching only the changes. And yeah, I guess this is enough for our video. It's not that small anymore. This is the essentials that will allow you to work with the Scratch orgs, like being in a real project. If you are admin, if you're a developer, of course, and yeah, just person who needs to follow the process. So thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. You can write down them in the comments. So see you!